Today on social media, we have a big issue. It's the portrayal of Christ, but not in the sense that you think I'm going to go after. I'm not going to be talking about that people shouldn't be celebrating that he's a risen king. Of course he is. He's powerful, he's mighty, he's doing wonders. The wonders, the mightiness, the love of Christ, however, is the area of which people may misunderstand. Yes, he chose to be this way, and he is this way. However, this was built on a life laid down. Before any other title, there is one that is above all. It's in Revelation. He is the Lamb slain before the foundation of the world. And what am I getting at here? What I'm choosing to call to attention today, that Jesus to a lot of people is an influence that is going to be celebrated even through persecution. But he laid down his life, which is a choice that when you think about yourself, if you think about the way that even the apostles, even the original 12 apostles of Christ, how they died, how some of the disciples died, it changes the grip on reality that we walk out into the world with. There is full acknowledgement and readiness that any day could be the last day. What I have observed on social media is that the association with his suffering is still far from us. Some of the most favorited and reposted videos are the ones that talk about what the Bible calls the elementary things of Christ. However, when it comes to the maturity of Christ, the sufferings of Jesus, the suffering servant, the man of sorrows, when it comes to Christians in Nigeria, tragedy to the Iranian church, to the Syrian church, these are some of the least viewed videos, least liked videos, least favorited, and least reposted videos. Why is that? It could only be that suffering does not want to be associated with Christianity. But the good and the bad news is that this is our call. This is Christ. How do we embrace his suffering without rejecting him? Is to think about, to dwell on these thoughts before the Lord and in prayer. If it were me, what would I do? Who would I be? And to recall that the majority of us right now on social media are privileged. We're privileged in that many of us are not facing that kind of persecution. Many of us are not having to choose our faith or our life. Many of us still hold on to and know deep down that we would hold on to our lives. But here's where we can turn it, to associate ourselves with the sufferings of Christ, to get real and to understand what's happening in this world, and to know him in the sufferings. The foundation of salvation was built on laying down his life, acknowledging far before that there would be ridicule, there would be hate, that there would be burden to bear. Yes, of course, through Christ we see other lovely things. However, the pillar of faith is in the laying down. In order to be the true church of today, the church that Christ is describing in the Word, the church that he's coming back for, that functions in full authority, power, that walks in his dominion, that understands his heart, that is obedient and truthful, is such a church that will not reject him, even here. We can face these realities. We don't have to like them. These are the things that are happening to his body, and we are part of his body, and we must receive the sufferings of our Christ.